always felt like I was like Good Luck Chuck. I always felt like the women that I that I dated, like afterwards, they went on to do amazing things. And I was like, damn, I suck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I inspired you to be so great because I was so shitty. This is tight. But
Clip that.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's have fun. Don't be stoned. Got a honeybee all day, like you smell.
You're watching Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T Bianco, and today I'm here with an artist whose voice is so smooth, it's therapeutic to listen to
Let's
his
go.
music. He's a gifted 2-time Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter out of Philadelphia, and he's here to talk about his new project, Dancing While Crying in the Middle of Nowhere.
Thank you.
He is theMIND, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Right.
Thanks for
Of course,
having me.
of course. So, what have you been up to today? I like to kind of start just running through what's going through your mind. You're on a New York City trip. You've been here for a few days.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
We did some press today. I overly cooked myself by going to get a burger at like 12 in the afternoon, and then the coffee, the dirty chai didn't help. So yeah, like I did that, and we had a Hugo Spritz, which really took me out. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm coasting, man. It's, it's like that aftermath, after-itis feeling. It's dope. It's dope.
After-itis.
Yeah.
So you got a full stomach ready for a good conversation.
Exactly. There it is.
That's awesome.
There it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you guys like go out to eat? Is there a particular place you guys like to hit? Like, where's the burger from?
Nah, we went around the corner. It was Uptown. Was that the name of it? I don't know. Upland. It's a terrible restaurant. No, it's not terrible. Don't coin that. It's a great restaurant, great people. Great people, great service. No, it was an okay restaurant. It was good. It was an okay burger. It was
just
good.
Like a greasy burger?
I don't know. It's like a California kitchen spot that's here, but it's not a California kitchen pizza spot. It's weird. It was just
confused.
Yeah, super.
Okay.
There was a California flag in my burger. It's strange.
So I see you have quite the fit on today.
Thank you.
You're very fashionable.
Thank
you.
you.
Have a really unique fashion sense. I think I've always noticed that about you throughout the years.
Thank you.
Take it you're a big Aaliyah fan.
I am. I love Aaliyah.
Do you have a favorite Aaliyah song?
I would say this is a not even a deep cut, but it was the joint from Romeo Must Die. Which one was that? I don't know the name of the song. Why does this always happen? As soon as someone asks you the name of something, you like blank on it. Yeah.
I remember like melodies and words sometimes. Well, thank you. Maybe we can put the track under it.
Yeah.
We'll do that in post.
Yeah.
The magic.
I'm telling you, I'm on with it. That's the beat, but I just can't remember the name of it right now. Yeah.
So, what's the rest of the fit? What are the shoes going on?
These is some togas. This is Story MFG, I think. This is a merch hat from the Nowhere Experience. That is the album. That's pretty much it. I think some Acne socks. They're a little ashy now. So other than that, what I'm saying, it's a little steezy.
So you just wrapped up your listening party.
Yeah.
And we were briefly talking about what it's like to see a body of work that you give your all into and see the reception from your fans in real time. What's that experience like for you? Are you able to stay in the moment?
I'm trying to. I think this time around, with just releasing art, being surrounded by friends and people who I've made it with, it is keeping me more grounded than I've ever been, and trying to stay in the moment. I think I'm a perfectionist in almost every aspect. I try to, I care about every detail, as do the people that I'm with. So we find ourselves working to the last minute, you know what I'm saying, on every trying to make sure that everything looks perfect for everyone. Because in the same exact way that we are, creators, we are fans, and I want to see something and experience something the same way that I would be, fully and totally impressed by it. I would hope that we provide that same exact experience for everybody else. So it's a little bit surreal. It's hard to keep your feet on the ground in those moments. So it was a lot of grounding techniques that people were teaching me last night, where they were just stay here, trying to relieve the anxiety and stuff. But it was dope. There was one which was like 3 things I see, 3 things I hear, 3 things I can touch, and then it's like breathe deep in 3 times. So it's cool. It was cool.
Those types of things like snap you back into reality.
Yes, very much so.
And I can assume that you're living a fairly crazy life all over the place, doing press.
Yeah.
How's it been for you being able to kind of quiet it all down when you can?
Okay. It's tough, but I think, like I said, even for this like specific trip, this has probably been like my favorite time in New York because I'm surrounded by friends. And I think like when you surround yourself by people that you love and care about, and that love and care about you, it helps. Like I saw my dad and my aunt and uncle yesterday, and little brother and my cousin. So it helps to really put you back in your shoes, to really feel the feet underneath you. And also to have people like we just laugh and joke at everything. We live and die by bits. So because of that, like it just makes everything like feel just so much more like just a little less unserious. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in the greatest way possible. Right. So you don't feel like everything feels so heavy. Yeah.
Isn't it fun when you got some friends around you that just like, die by the bit?
Guaranteed.
It could be anything. It could be
so much so.
Random,
So much so.
It's just so much fun. Because like there's comedy everywhere.
Truly.
And it's kind of up to you to observe it and find it. And you probably run into some characters traveling all over the place. Guaranteed. So that probably brings you down to earth level.
For sure. We were in the restaurant like yesterday. And a guy just like started yelling at one of the other customers. He was just like, "This guy's fucking disgusting," and he just got up and walked out. But it was like, what is this? Like, Curb Your Enthusiasm? Like, what's happening right now? Like,
welcome to New York City.
You know what I'm saying? And we went outside, and a lady just randomly yelled at somebody. It was dope. Right. I love it. So yeah.
So you mentioned Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Do you watch any shows? Are you watching any shows currently that bring you some peace and maybe some laughter to your life or entertainment?
You know what's crazy? I haven't been watching anything that brings me laughter, but I was crying, like profusely crying at My Hero Academia yesterday. Like it was like 2 days ago. It was like it wasn't even a sad part. I don't know why I was crying. It was like, but yeah, I've been doing that. I don't cry enough, so because of that, I was just like, okay, cool, I'll watch this. But it was dope. It was dope.
Now you mentioned crying.
Yeah.
I'm going to share something personal with you.
For sure.
It's not always very easy to process emotions.
For sure.
It's not always easy to get yourself to that point and to like cry when you need to, or to really recognize those emotions in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about crying that reboots your brain.
Guaranteed.
So I'm curious on how you handle the different waves of emotions that are just thrown your way.
Yeah.
And, maybe how crying a little bit can help you. Because I know as a man, it's not always the coolest thing to cry. But I think that's a really important thing to do sometimes. Yeah,
guaranteed. I think for me, like I am always like not struggling, but like trying to find these bits and times and pieces and moments where I could, like I said, be by myself or be amongst my friends and like, laughing to the point of crying, experiencing emotions fully all the way through, making sure that I'm being very receptive of the energies that are coming to me, and also trying to block out the ones that aren't as positive and that don't service me in any way, shape, or form. It's a struggle. I think not just for us, but like, just in this world alone, there's 50 million things that, are trying to upload to you all at once. Whether it be on your phone, whether it be something that's happening in the street. So I'm trying to at least sift through the ones that and find the ones that actually are that can serve me and ones that I can actually be in service in. So yeah, it's a struggle though.
I feel you on that. Protecting your energy is not an easy
as much as possible,
especially in your case.
Yeah.
You're an entertainer, you're a singer-songwriter, you're an artist, you're collaborating with all sorts of people.
Yeah.
Someone's popping
revving up
on the street over there. I don't know if you heard that one, but it's hard to protect your own energy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that you have your own way of dealing with it. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Dealing with anxieties and maybe some sort of depressions and stuff. It's not an easy thing to, I guess, be self-aware about.
For sure.
And to come to terms with, which we'll get to in a little bit, talking about some of the themes of this project. But I want to start with how I first heard you.
What's up?
So back in 2016, I was a football player in high school, and the one album that was on rotation for our locker room was Ballin' Like I'm Kobe, the mixtape.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And that was fall of 2015. That was fall of 2015, and that was my introduction. Other than hearing Chance and Acid Rap and 10 Day, that was my introduction to almost like a different wave of Chicago music. Yeah. And the one song that I used to listen to pre-game was Remember.
Stop it. That's crazy.
I played quarterback, so it would help me calm down a little bit. Once it got to your hook, I mean, Herbo was just like
going crazy,
coasting over it, crazy.
But for Herbo,
he
stepped up,
and it gets to your part, and it just almost, it's a collection of, I don't know, like peace. Like I was introduced to like your soulful sound. Yeah. Stay up there.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm down.
That's crazy.
I like feel that, and I still listen to that song. It's still in my rotation.
Bro, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Man.
Nah, that's crazy. It's so funny. I think like that's the one song that most people have never heard. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
I still have friends to this day that I've made music with that are like, hey, bro, you got a song with her? I'm like, bro, are you serious? That's like almost like 10, 12 years old now.
I mean, it came out, 8, 9 years ago. You probably made it 12 years ago.
Yes, guaranteed,
so it's a deep cut. So I wanted to mention that, and I think it's one of it's one of his best songs.
Thank you.
You got him on it.
Let's go.
So I wanted to mention that because I'm curious on what it's like for you going back in time and listening to a song like that and kind of thinking about where you were in life at the time in which you recorded that and collaborating with new people and being confident as an artist.
Damn. I do think that music is like this time capsule that we can't explain, whether it's for the listener where they like are kind of transported back to the first time that they heard it. That's what makes your favorite song your favorite song. Sometimes it's not because of like how great the song was. Sometimes it's because it's like, damn, like it was where I was in that moment too. And then the song can be great as well. But for me, there's certain songs I can't even listen to that I've made, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it brings back like traumatic memories, or like the way that I wrote it was more of from a cathartic place where I just wanted to kind of deal with those emotions and like just get it out of me, and then I just put it down. And then there's the times when I listen to stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I remember exactly where we were. We made that. Edgar Allan Pulled Up is one of those songs where, we Elton actually recorded that, and we were like in this, we were in this apartment in the middle of like West Loop, like Lincoln Park. Yeah, we were in the middle of this apartment in Lincoln Park, and like I think I hiccuped by accident or something like that. He was like, "Oh, that's fire!" And I was like actually going through it. Yeah, like I was like, "All right, cool." And then I kind of leaned into it more. Like I could just see his face, like, and then I just like leaned into it more, thus creating what it was. I mean, I was a little bit drunk, but it was just a little bit. That's a tad.
The drunk hiccups a little bit.
Yeah,
those are real.
Those are real.
Very
so,
real.
No, but moments like that where I could then remember that moment, it's nothing. It's nothing like it. Like I guess pictures do the exact same thing, but like having the blessing of being a musician and to have those moments where I'm like, damn, I remember saying that. I remember feeling that. I can't even explain it. That's super dope. Yeah.
That's very interesting to hear. I was very curious about like what your view on that is, because you're ever changing as an artist. You're always evolving.
For sure.
I'm sure it's kind of strange to go back and be like, who was that guy?
Yeah, no, seriously. I try to say nothing. I don't try to say anything that dates me in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I always claim that I have no hill to die on. Like I don't want to ever say to myself like, okay, like this is a permanent. This is something that this is a moment that I can't take back. I remember that. So if I'm talking about something in a song, typically I'm talking about my own actions. If I'm talking about like a relationship, I'm typically talking about my part that I played in it. I never try to speak on someone else and what I thought that their intentions were, because if I do, then I think that I'll later on, when I grow past that moment or when I have that conversation with them, I feel like I could have gave them a little bit more grace. I could have understood where they were coming from, and I try not to do that. I try my hardest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, but
not at all. Not at all. Because you find yourself, we all have those moments where you become like a little bit spiteful, a little bit like weak, and be like, damn, I have the power to just say something and millions of people are going to hear this. And it's just like, and I try my hardest to know what that is and say like, okay, I'm not going to say anything about this person that I know later on in life I'm going to regret. So
it's that Spider-Man quote: "With great power
comes great responsibility." Truly.
That's
truly
something to definitely think about.
Yeah.
That's what came to mind after mentioning that. Would you consider yourself an empathetic person?
Very much so, to a fault.
You can feel to a fault.
To a fault. Yeah.
Because I kind of associate that with myself a little bit, as far as you can kind of feel the energies in the room.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. And good and bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, it's a gift.
And it's a curse sometimes.
It's a bit of a curse.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about like when you first realized that.
I think when I was a little kid, I have a twin sister, and like I think she was like the first time that she like felt like cramps or something like that, I felt them too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt just like this pain in my gut or whatever like that. And it would just be like every single time. Like every time that she felt cramps, or every time like her stomach hurt or this, that, and the third, I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? Why do I feel like this? And then I started to realize that there were points in times where like I was fully upset or fully angry at someone as a kid. And the first thing that kind of went through my mind was like, why would they do that to me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why would I be the subject of their anger and so on and so forth? And then you start to realize like, oh, well, this person's a human, and well, this thing happened to them. And before you know it, you keep on going down this long road. And before you know it, everyone's a victim. Everyone kind of went through something that brought you to this point. And it made it hard to like be angry at people. Like, you know what I'm saying? It made it hard for me to
me know how like they feel.
Guaranteed. And I still try to validate my own feelings. I try to validate like the hurt or anything any emotion that I went through. But at the same exact time, I try to look at everyone like they're humans, and like they can make mistakes, that they try to give grace as much as possible. So yeah.
So you've worked with Smino, you've worked with Chance the Rapper, you've worked with No Name, you worked with Zaba, Mick Jenkins, more and more. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
You won 2 Grammys. You don't seem like a very like, oh, look at me, I won a fucking Grammy. But at the same time, people refer to you as a Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter and artist.
It's crazy.
What was that process like for you? Work with what you worked on to win the Grammy.
Yeah.
Talk about what it was like, maybe being a fly on the wall or being a part of creating something so great.
Yeah. I think I'll say this. I think that in moments in time of like working on projects that win, awards and so on and so forth, or get plaques or whatever, when working on it, you just think that you're working on something cool. I don't think that you ever think to yourself like, oh, this is crazy, because this is something that most artists have done in their entire lives, and it just feels like you are going to work. It just feels like you're doing the exact same thing. It's not until that after process where it's like, oh, I don't even think I have processed that yet. You know what I'm saying? I think the certificate is still in my car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's like, I don't think that I've fully processed it. I don't ever want to get satisfied by anything. I don't want to reach any height where I'm saying to myself like, oh, I finally reached this and that's it or whatever. I don't think that I'm searching for any accolade. I think that I'm searching for completion and I'm searching for a moment that I could feel like all of this is real. you know, like it still feels like a fever dream sometimes. And I think that some of those things just make it just feel even more so unrealistic, you know? But then there are moments like this trip, you know what I'm saying? This interview, like, you know what I'm saying? Where you start to feel your body a little bit more, where you start to say to yourself, like, okay, wow, this is kind of crazy. This is cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You're telling me.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's cool. It's fire. But more and more, I think that I'm searching for that. I'm searching for peace. I'm searching for a true ego death. And I think we're getting closer and closer every day. And that's all that those accolades and all of that other cool stuff. It just is markers to let you know that you're growing, and that's it. So yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
So we'll talk about the meaning of this title.
Okay.
It's quite an emotional title, dancing while crying in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Almost, sounds very frantic.
Yeah.
It's an emotionally driven title. So I'm curious on like how you felt at a certain time in your life. Like, do you associate this title with how you felt at a certain time? What's it mean to you?
Yeah. It's how I felt for like the past, I guess, 3 years. I felt like I was going through stuff, and I felt like I wasn't in the place or even had the ability to tell someone that I was going through things. So I was doing the song and dance in front of people. I was pretending to be okay. I was pretending to be present in moments. And because of that, I would go back home. I would take off that cool. I would take off like these emotions. And then I would be crying to myself. And in places that people couldn't see, like, you know what I'm saying? And in the shower sometimes, or just like in my car for like 2 seconds or whatever. And then I realized that was affecting my ability to be present. It was affecting my ability to be in these spaces. I was traveling the world, and I didn't feel like I remembered any of the moments. And when it came down to it, I started to realize like every place felt like nowhere to me. Like every place felt like I was just floating. And so because of that, thus the title, Dancing While Crying in the Middle of Nowhere, I wanted to remove the song and dance from it, but I also wanted to allow it to be more of a celebratory dance. I wanted to remove the sadness from the tears, and I wanted it to be a place of, you know what I'm saying, like laughing so hard that you're crying. I wanted to remove the nowhere from it, or the negative connotation of nowhere, and have it be this place of celebration. So I think now nowhere is everywhere, but nowhere is anything that you make it. It is a blank slate for you to grow out of it and build buildings if you want to, you know. Yeah, I think that encompasses a little bit of it.
Specifically, like one of the topics on this project is almost like your relationship with love.
Yeah.
And how to process it. So what is it about love that you learned about while making this project?
That's not a monolith. I think that most of the time, in most romantic relationships, you are searching for this perfect outcome, like something that's going to be like something that looks like they wrote about it in storybooks or something that you've seen in movies. And then the longer you kind of stay in relationships, you start to realize the work that goes into it, you know, the getting to know someone, period. And I think for a very long time, I was searching for something fairy tale, and I couldn't find it. And after that, I was throwing people to the side. Not necessarily actually in real life, but like throwing people to the side and like what I thought this thing could be. And not really accepting people for like their whole selves. And now I find myself in a place where I want to get to know somebody for real. Like I want to get to if I'm dating someone, like, and she like sees me for everything that I am and can accept me for everything that I am, then I want to do the exact same thing for her, and I want to offer that safe space for her to grow, for me to grow. Yeah, and I don't think that there's love songs about that. I don't think that there's love songs about accidentally falling in love with somebody. I don't think there's love songs about the lust aspect of it and you not realizing that you are caught up in the trappings of your idea of someone and not who they actually are. And I wanted to kind of talk about that and talk about these different topics from all of those different points of views.
Love is it's an interesting thing.
Truly.
When you have something like that in your life, you have someone who accepts you for just you.
Yeah.
Maybe some flaws, and you do the same to them.
Yeah.
It's a comforting feeling. There's
Guaranteed.
a feeling of solace.
Yes.
And I think sometimes it happens on accident.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sneaks up on you and scares you a little bit.
Guaranteed.
Makes you look at things a little different. Am I ready for this, or is this the right move and everything?
Yeah.
And I just think submitting to that tells you a lot about yourself. And,
truly.
Over time, it's important to become more comfortable with yourself in that light. So thanks for opening up about that.
Thank you.
Love's a crazy thing.
Indeed.
Love for anything.
Indeed.
So Point Nemo, that's the correct pronunciation.
Correct.
Of the song.
Yeah.
Starts off the project with like this frantic jazz style.
Yeah.
Got me ready.
Yeah.
I was racing to work this morning.
Let's go.
I was just felt like I was in my own little jazz movie or something.
That's fire.
And it talks about kind of declaring a regret of waiting too long to tell someone how you feel. Yeah. So we were just talking about love and maybe how that ties in with this. I felt like that could have been maybe a freeing track for you to make.
For sure.
Talk about the creation of that one.
Man, Point Nemo, it was produced by Eugene Side, and I think that it's super frantic. It feels like the racing, the piano feels like you're literally running. And I think it starts, the project even starts with me panting as I'm running. But yeah, I think that this story of this good luck, I always felt like I was like Good Luck Chuck. I always felt like the women that I dated afterwards, they went on to do amazing things. And I was like, damn, I suck. You know what I'm saying? I inspired you to be so great because I was so shitty. This is tight. But
clip that.
You know what I'm saying? But it was it really did start to get to this place where I started thinking to myself damn, maybe it's me. Maybe I figured out. I think this thing that happens that after you get out of a relationship with somebody, you start to see all of the beautiful things that they are, and you're like, oh damn, I fucked up. I could have did this better, or I should have done this better. And then that's always that second thing when you're drunk or something, you call your ex and you're like, yo, I fucked up. I could have made it better. What's the Future meme or whatever like that, where it's just you know what I'm saying? All of this war makes me feel like how I was at war with myself. You know what I'm saying? The whole time that we were in a relationship. So now, I have to tell you this. But I think that that's what I wanted to encapsulate. I wanted to, have this conversation with myself where I damn, maybe it's me. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I didn't tell you when I needed to. And because of that, you're happy and you're doing your thing. And I'm still fucked up dancing while crying in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, but it's cool.
So now, Mad Honey will transition.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
It kind of reminds me of a more modern iteration of the Marvin Gaye song.
Damn, crazy. That's fine.
To me personally, I'm a big Marvin Gaye guy.
Let's go.
So let's talk about bringing that one to life, the visuals that accompany it.
Yeah.
And, when you make a song, do you have a visual in mind once you're listening to the final mix and master? Do you kind of love to bring that all to life? Yeah,
for sure. Mad Honey in particular, I think this is another living and dying by the bit thing. Me and Elton and Juliana and the homie Hully, we were sitting up there riffing and came up with this crazy concept of my head exploding and getting stung by a bee and all this other stuff, right? And but that only happens after we make a record that kind of transcends just the emotions that you feel sonically. You know what I'm saying? After a while, you start to see the world, you start to see the character, you start to see all of the cool things that they can get involved with. And then you start to get a little advantageous. You start to say oh, damn, what if this happened? Blah, blah, blah. And it's always crazy. And then you we don't have the budget for that. So then you pull back and then you you know what I'm saying? Nah, we can't call Scorsese up and be like, hey bro, can we just get one more time? You, Leo, me, you know what I'm saying? Good cop, bad cop situation. No, but yeah, I think sometimes the visuals come to you immediately. Sometimes they don't. I think one of the greatest things that happen with this project was working with cinematographers and videographers who are really good at what they do. So we were allowed to allow people to be specialists. And then also for the times when we had our vision, we were able to work with individuals who could see it all the way through step by step with us. And I think that's invaluable. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a blessing in disguise where you can have somebody who can articulate that vision out loud.
I noticed on camera you're very animated. I felt like I was watching maybe the Mind's own personal show or movie or something like that.
Yeah.
Does that something like that interest you, being on camera a little bit, maybe doing a little acting, making some cameos later on in your career?
Hopefully. I think that there's a parallel between the recording aspect and acting in film. I won't say like on stage, but acting in film, like the takes aspect. I love like when I hear a record and I can hear somebody smile, I can hear like their inflections of like them being angry or happy, or, you know what I'm saying, or like they're yelling at somebody across the room and they throw their voice. Like I love all of that, and I think that same thing happens in movies. Like I can tell when someone wanted to like was trying to figure out exactly how their body would move because they're pissed off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could tell how somebody was feeling when it was like, Doc, like, this is hilarious and it's probably like the 17th take, but we're just getting it because it's just so funny and I just want to see what else you could do. And there's something intriguing about that. I'm nervous on camera though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not this. I'm not nervous at all, guys. But there is something about that whole action of just like, you know, being on set with 30, 40 people just watching you just do something that I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to do that. But, you know, we're going to keep shooting movies by ourselves, like, you know what I'm saying? Doing little cool characters and all of these videos and stuff. So that'd be cool.
In due time.
In due time. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your first single you dropped to this.
Okay.
Gina.
Yeah.
You know, I really love this song because it's has such like an upbeat pace.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious what this song means to you, and did you or do you have a special Gina in your life? I see there's a little bit of a laugh there. You know, I'll open up with what you want to tell us, but it's such a special song.
Thank you.
I'm curious on, you know, what inspires
it. Thank you. I think Gina is. I think I wrote it in this common misconception that I like quote unquote mean girls, but I like the aspect of someone being honestly themselves. And I think that sometimes in this world, I understand how women feel like they have to hide this attitude or hide this, that, the third, while going through as much shit as they go through, right? And I think that I wanted to take that veil off. And it's like, okay, like if you come to me and you're angry, I understand like something happened throughout your day. It's the same thing that we were talking about before, this empathetic aspect of it, of like, damn, something happened where you feel like you need to put this guard up and stuff like that. And if I actually want to be with you, or if I actually want to see you, then I have to keep that in mind, and keep in mind that like, hey, this anger might not be towards me. This anger might not be towards, you know, anybody in the room. It might just be like something was built up over your entire life, and I want to meet you at the place that you're at. So I think that's where Mean Girls or Gina comes from. Do I have an actual mean girl in my life? Nah. I don't know. Everybody I know is super nice. Like the sweethearts. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, what do you do to help wind down from, you know, all this craziness, all this craziness and all the chaos? Do you play any sports? Do you like to play any games?
Yeah.
What do you do for fun? What does the mind do for fun?
I play Call of Duty with my little brother and my homie Bridge.
Okay.
We play COD. We watch movies. I need to get back in my gym routine though. I got to get back in my bag.
Do you try to like? Are you more like, okay, I'm gonna go lift and work out, or do you play like sports like basketball or football or?
Nah, I thought I was gonna be great at football. Then I broke my wrist, and that was it. So that was.
So you played?
Very briefly, and it was over very quickly. I thought I was gonna be the next. Like I thought I was gonna be like Saquon Barkley or some shit, and it didn't work out. But it's cool though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got a football bill, so I'm like, it's cool.
Like a fullback.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like we're good. Like that's it. I can look the part. Play.
Yeah.
Boise State, baby. know what I'm saying? Like something crazy, somewhere, just name a school that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gatorade High, baby. You ever been there? Nah, yeah, it's cool.
Middle of nowhere.
Exactly. There it is. I went to Key and Peele skit. Nowhere in university.
A-Ron.
Exactly.
Jackson, Flaxen, Waxen.
Exactly. Flaxen.
Pinkleberry, Crinkleberry.
Exactly.
I love it. No, it's interesting to hear like what you do for fun and stuff like that. I think that's important to find that balance too as well. Cindy's shoes.
Yeah.
What kind of shoes was she wearing?
Probably some clear, Loewe's, you know what I mean? Some glass slippers from Balenciaga or something, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Balenciaga would have the plastic wrap. Still on, like you couldn't even walk in them.
Grandma's couch.
Exactly, literally grandma couch, glass slippers, or broken glass slippers, something like that.
So, separate from a funny question like that, I love that song.
Thank you.
I could hear that song at a wedding.
Damn,
I could hear people dancing to it at a wedding.
Let's go.
The bride and groom dancing to it.
That's crazy.
And I wanted to mention that because I just like to, I guess, capture the initial feeling I get from when I first listen.
For sure.
So what does that song mean to you? And I guess, how was it capturing love in a song?
Excuse me. Man, so I have to tell the story of Cindy, which we haven't even touched on with, I think, any interview that we've done, but I'll tell you this. So Cindy was this girl so I grew up in foster care, right? And next door to the foster home that I was living in was another girl and her brother who was also in foster care or whatever like that. We were around the same age. Her name was Cindy. And so we were in a relationship, fake relationship. Just 9 now. You were probably 8 or 9 or whatever. And I remember one day I pissed my sister off, and she was just like, "I'm gonna go downstairs and tell Cindy that you hate her." And I was like, "Ooh, she's not gonna believe you." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She runs downstairs, tells Cindy "Zarif hates you. He hates you. He never wants to see you again." Cindy is profusely crying, runs back in the house. I'm like, "Yo, why the hell would you do that?" So she's crying, and sadly, Cindy then was rehoused after that. You know what I'm saying? Moved on to another foster home after that, and I never got to see her again. And then from that point on, it kind of felt like this Cinderella shoe situation with her. I wasn't progressively looking, but my sister then was like, "Oh, I found Joey, who's her brother." She was like, I saw Joey in a grocery store 14 years ago. I'm like, why would you just now bring that up to me? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I don't know. And then it just became in my head, these magical moments where this person who got away, I don't know, we probably would have never even hit it off. But that was the antithesis to the title of the song. But I think the Cindy shoe aspect is also based in this place of that part when love changes, when you're out of the honeymoon phase, when you're out of the getting to know somebody phase, and it's the real shit starts to happen, and you're starting to ask yourself damn, did we do something wrong? Did we make a wrong turn? Are you actually my person? Is it okay for me to fully be myself in front of you? Where do I find myself in this situation? Have I lost myself? And just asking yourself all of those questions. And so I felt that I drew that parallel to Cinderella, and when the clock struck 12 and literally everything turns back to pumpkins, everything goes back to normal, and it's yo, I'm no longer living in this fantastical world anymore. I'm back in reality, and do I still love you for everything that you are? And asking those questions, and will you love me when all of my shit goes back to normal, when it's not as fantastical as it once was? And I just wanted to make a song that kind of posed that question, but also a shout out to Cindy. So yeah.
Hope you're watching, Cindy. He still loves you. And it's such a core memory that's stemming from inspiration. From it's very interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
And, as an artist, you're always working with other artists, right?
For sure.
Are there any up and coming artists, or maybe some bigger artists that you have your eye on that you just really want to chop it up with, connect with, and then maybe eventually work?
It's always gonna be the greats. I want to work with Stevie Wonder one day. Herbie Hancock. Please. No, I hope so. I hope that we can do that. I hope that we can do that.
I love Stevie.
Stevie.
There's similarities of soul and like depict emotion in both of your music.
Yeah. Hopefully one day. Stevie, there's an upcoming artist. Well, she's not. I think she's more established now. Carrie Jackson out of Chicago. She's really, really dope. I'm actually friends with her. I'm saying this, but I really want to work with you, Carrie. You have your classic artists, not your classic, but like your Raven Lenae's, I still want to do a song with Raven. James Fauntleroy, fucking
oh my Lord,
an insane.
Did you listen to his Christmas album?
No, what?
He doesn't have like his own solo album. James Fauntleroy, as all you guys know, like he's the guy that I feel like people bring in. All right, like make this song.
You want to make this hot?
Great, like a little sprinkle of James.
Yeah.
And I guess he dropped an album with Robert Glasper and Terrace Martin, which I love. That was back in August.
Yeah.
Very, very special album.
Yeah.
I love that. And then he dropped a Christmas album. It was like 15 songs, and it was like him making sexy Christmas songs. Like,
Get the fuck
Come
out
Get
of
to Santa. I loved it. Yeah, it was
what?
Great. Yeah, go listen to it.
I gotta go listen to this.
Time. So it's interesting that you want to work with him.
That's crazy.
I think you guys would like really compliment each other. Very
well.
that'd
be dope. I think James is a fucking genius. So yeah, that would be dope. Yeah.
Quick question too. What's your favorite Stevie song?
My favorite Stevie song would be As. Yeah, really good song. That's my shit.
Let's go.
That's my shit. Let's go. That's my shit. Did you get
as around the sun, the earth knows she's evolving.
Yes.
The sun knows the bloom in early May.
Come on, man. He was spitting. He was spitting.
I love that.
Like it's the way he allows songs to breathe. It's the way that he brings things back at it at the perfect moment. It's so perfect. I'm looking up to that. I want to eventually make a song that fucking good. Yeah. Hopefully one day.
Love that.
Yeah.
And as we conclude this, right? What's your favorite city to perform in? And then a little follow-up question. What's the craziest fan interaction you've ever had? That stuck with you and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened.
Crazy city, best city to perform in. I feel like if I don't say Chicago, then I'll get crucified. So I feel like I gotta say Chicago. Chicago's really good.
Maybe is there one that you thought you didn't like as much as you did?
I can't even think of, I go into this autopilot mode on tour, like where I'm like so fucking locked in on like, yo, I want to make sure I put on the best show possible or whatever like that, that most of the time, like a really good show would take me out of there. Minneapolis. Why did I add more words to it? Minneapolis. There it is. Minneapolis. That was the best one.
All right,
Minneapolis is really, really dope. Yeah, Minneapolis. A crazy fan interaction. This is an embarrassing story for me, but I'll tell it anyway.
Please do share.
I was hanging out with, this is years ago, whatever like that. I was hanging out with this girl, or like a couple of girls after a show, and we were like chilling, and it was a festival, and Party Next Door was about to go on stage or whatever, and all of the girls that I was talking to left to go party. And there was one girl, she was there, and she played volleyball, and she had like hurt her leg or whatever like that. And she was just like, oh yeah. And she was like the only girl who was still standing there because she was clearly on crutches or whatever like that. And she was like, I think I'm gonna go with him, and like hobbled away. And I was like, That's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really ridiculous. And they didn't even go that far. They just like went to the other side of the stage. And I was just like, I can still see y'all through this fog that he's dancing through in his all white fit.
It's like,
so
what's good, curious.
exactly.
Like, background, you're like, oh my God.
What's happening right now, bro? Like,
what comedy skit am I in right now?
he had a white do-rag on. Like, why they let that happen?
Oh, that's a unique story.
Yeah, so
thank you for. It takes like a lot to maybe share that.
nah, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
Very transparent here, but
nah, for sure, guarantee you.
So, man, I really appreciate your time today, coming out here, enjoying the beautiful city of New York.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, to everyone at home, his new project, "Dancing While Crying in the Middle of Nowhere," is out now. Go listen to it. Go check out all the visuals. Go support. Had such a great time connecting with you today.
This is dope.
So thank you once again.
Thank you,
I
man.
really
Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're watching Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T Bianco. This has been our great interview with the one and only theMIND. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
And cut.
Let's go.
All right.
That was tight.
Thanks, man.
That was tight.
Thanks,
that was
man.
tight.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
I really enjoyed that.
That's hilarious, man. I never told that story on camera.